Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Well, we're gonna do a little bit of a different kind of video today. We are heading to a place called Miesville, Minnesota. Small little town, maybe 100 people. It's only a few blocks long. It's very small. But within that town, there is a burger place called King's Place, I believe is what it's called. And they are known... I'm sorry, look at this, guys. Can you see this? I don't know if that showed up or not, but it was kind of a bunch of weird statues in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, I don't know if that got into the shot. If not, well, it was just some weird statue stuff. But we are heading to this burger place because apparently they've been voted the best burger in Minnesota. My parents have been there. They talked about it. They raved about it. I had a couple co-workers rave about it. So I figured, let's do something a little bit different. Let's go to this burger place. Let's check it out. Let's do a burger review. But since this is a movie and physical media channel, after that, I will go home and there are some new physical media releases that I have watched. I've watched about 7 or 8 movies in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and I want to talk about them. There's some cool releases that came out that I think are really worth talking about. So yeah, we're doing a burger review, a burger and movie review type video today. A little bit different. This isn't something I'm gonna always do, but I just thought do something a little bit different. So let's go check out these burgers and see if they're worth all the hype that everybody's been talking about. Let's go get a burger. Big old chair. Hey, you want to sit in the chair? So here we go. King's Bar and Grill. King's Burgers. Over 100 ways to make you happy. Very cool outside decor. Still got the Christmas stuff up. As you can see, there's not much here. It's a pretty small town. Alright, so we got cheese curds first of all. Try it out. Tell me how they are. I'll try one. You got the dipping sauce, which is ranch, it looks like. Doing this in one motion. Oh, yeah. Try them. They're definitely not like frozen ones. I think they're ones that they actually make here. You know what I mean? What do you think of it? You like it?
I do like it a lot.
Pretty good. All right, so this is what we're working with. I got the third base. Everything here has a baseball name. And it basically is a burger, and it has some macaroni and cheese bites on it, which I don't see. Oh, they're underneath the cheese. Okay. So then the cheese, and then I got waffle fries. What did you get?
Mine is a cheeseburger with bacon, bourbon sauce, and a broccoli popper.
With chips. Okay. What did you get?
Mine is the standard burger with Swiss cheese and barbecue sauce.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so that's what we have here. We're going to try them, and then we'll just talk about it probably in the car or something afterwards. All right, guys. Well, we just got out of the restaurant. The place was really, really good. The only difference is I ordered one that had like macaroni and cheese bites on it. It really didn't add much to the burger. I don't think I would do that one again, but the burger itself was delicious. And we got cheese curds, which were delicious, and we got onion rings, which were delicious. So yeah, the burger itself, very well seasoned, medium, well, perfect, just kind of fell apart. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, I would just get a different topping on there because it really didn't add much to mine. But the burger itself was very good. What do you think of yours?
Mine was really awesome. It was a cheeseburger with bacon and fried onions, bourbon sauce, and a broccoli popper that added a lot of nice heat.
Nice.
It was great.
Nice. What about you back there?
Well, I had the, what was that, Swiss cheese and bacon and barbecue burger, and taste of that was great.
Excellent. So yes, we definitely enjoyed it. It's my first time here. I would definitely come back. Like I said, I just would not order that same topping. I'd do something that's a little more weird and out there, I think, to add a little different flavor. But anyway, let's head home. Let's go talk about some movies. All right, guys, well, we're back from the restaurant. I mean, technically, it's the next day. We got home last night, and I was just tired. I didn't feel like recording the rest of this video, so I'm doing it today. But yeah, guys, that restaurant was fantastic. King's Place, that was the name of it, King's Place. So if you're ever in Minnesota and you're anywhere near Meesville, Minnesota, which I believe is not that far from like Red Wing, it's well worth your time. The burgers were great. The wait staff was great. Everybody was friendly. They got you in there really quickly. It was extremely busy in there. I wanted to film more of the place. There was some other sections and stuff that would have been kind of cool to film, but it was just so busy and crowded in there. I basically kind of just filmed what I could do, what I could film while standing there waiting to be seated. So there's not a whole lot. And then I shot some outside stuff, but there was definitely more to that restaurant that you don't see in the video. But yeah, if you do go there, maybe try to go on a weekday or something. We went there on a Saturday and it was like 3:30-ish. So we thought we'd be all right. You know, it was kind of past lunch, but you know, a good amount of time before dinner. And we got there and they told us as soon as we got there it was a 45-minute wait at 3:30 in the afternoon. They ended up getting us in like a half hour maybe. So, I mean, they were very quick. They got us in less time than they said it was going to be. But yes, if you can make it there like during the week, it might be better because weekends get nuts there. But it is well worth your time. The burgers were fantastic. All right, let's move on to the physical media movie portion of the video. And I got some movies here that I've watched that I want to talk about. Now, these aren't necessarily going to be reviews. These are more recommendations because I'll be completely honest with you. Everything that I'm going to talk about here, I think is worth your time. I think they're all very good releases. I've just been kind of lucky in the last few I've watched, which all of them but one are pretty new releases, have been really, really good. And I want to talk about them. So first up, we're going to talk about a movie that is not a new release. It's the only one that's not like a new release. This one came out maybe a year ago, year and a half ago. But I'd never seen it before. And I picked it up the other day, and it blew my mind. And I'm talking about Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, and Debbie Reynolds in Singing in the Rain on 4K. This movie was amazing. I'm not going to delve too deep into it, but basically what the movie is about is they're making the transition. Hollywood's making the transition of silent pictures into talking pictures, and there's all kinds of issues. Gene Kelly is an actor. There's issues with his co-star. They can't get the sound right. Everything's just kind of not going well, turning this, what was supposed to be a silent picture into a talking picture. So Gene Kelly comes up with the idea. Well, actually, I think Debbie Reynolds comes with the idea. Let's just make it a musical. And that's where you get Singing in the Rain. And this movie is fantastic. I never knew how good this movie was. The thing that really blew my mind about it was the choreography. I kind of held off on musicals for a lot of years. I was never really a musical guy that much. I never really delved too much into them because I just thought it was like a bunch of singing. And the music is good. I like the music. But if I would have known about the choreography that was in this like years ago, I would have checked this out a long time ago. The choreography is outstandingly good in this. It's unreal how good it is. That's what really blew my mind. The music's good too. I like the music and the story is good. It's well acted, all that stuff. But the dancing is unbelievably good. And thing that really is crazy about it is that they make it look flawless. They make it look easy. Like it's a walk in the park, just another day on the set. And it is insane how incredibly hard, I'm sure, the dancing was and how in sync they were. And I mean, my God, I mean, you could almost just turn the volume off on this and just watch the dancing. I mean, alone without music, and it would probably blow your mind. This movie was outstanding. I now know why it was considered one of the greatest movies of all time. It is well-deserved, and this 4K is phenomenal. It looks outstanding. You get a little bit of special features, nothing too crazy, but you get a lot of auto commentaries, and you get Singing in the Rain, Raining on a New Generation, and you got a Jump to Song feature and a theatrical trailer, so nothing too crazy, but it's okay. I did watch that little documentary, and I remember it being quite long, the Singing in the Rain, A New Generation. That's very interesting. They really break down the film. That documentary is well worth your time as well. So yeah, this movie is fantastic. I highly recommend it. All right, next we're going to completely change gears, and we're going to talk about a movie that just came out, I want to say, earlier this week, I can't remember. It was either earlier this week or it was last week. I can't remember. And it was one of the only Wes Craven movies that I've never seen. And that is Wes Craven's Red Eye from the Paramount Presents line. I'll just do this. I love how they do this with the Paramount Presents. So you kind of get the theatrical poster on the inside, which I always found to be quite cool. This movie stars Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. And it's a little bit of a departure for Wes Craven. It's not straight horror. It's more of just a thriller movie. And it's about Rachel McAdams plays like a manager of this really nice Miami hotel. And she's coming back from Texas. I think it's Texas, from her grandma's funeral. And she takes the red eye back, and she's introduced to Cillian Murphy as kind of this charming passenger. They end up sitting next to one another, and she's kind of taken with them, and they get along really well. And as soon as they pretty much get in the air, he reveals to her that he works for like an assassination company, and he wants her to call her hotel from the plane and move this like senator that's going to be staying there from one room to another so that he can assassinate him and his entire family. And if she doesn't do that, her father is going to be assassinated. So she's basically stuck on this plane with this lunatic who's basically threatening her father's life if he doesn't do she doesn't do what he wants her to do. And it's extremely intense. It's really well acted. It looks fantastic on 4K. But yeah, it's a great release. Let's see. So special features. You get some new commentary by some of the people who made the movie. A lot of new commentaries. You got the making of Red Eye. Let's see. Wes Craven, a new kind of thriller. You got a gag reel. So yeah, so you got some decent theatrical or some decent bonus features on here. But yeah, this is a great release. I highly recommend it. I love that cover art too. I think that's so cool with the hand up there. It's awesome. Yeah, this is a really cool movie. The ending, I will say, the only thing that kind of bugged me, and if I'm going to nitpick, the ending I thought was a little bit weak. The ending could have been better, but everything leading up to it was very intense, very well acted, and it was just a lot of fun. I definitely recommend Red Eye on 4K. Okay, now we're going to switch gears to boxing, and we're going to talk about the Steelbook, Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 2. I love that Steelbook. It is so cool. We're going to delve into this just briefly. And the one thing I want to show the back there too. And the one thing that I really want to bring to light on here is there was a lot of talk about how all the audio issues on here, how every one of the tracks were at the wrong like levels and everything was bad. I watched this movie. I noticed a little something kind of in the beginning, but I'll be honest with you, unless somebody told me, hey, there's audio issues with this, I never would have known. It did not ruin the movie at all for me. I thought it sounded pretty good, actually. I had no issues there. It looks fantastic. But we'll delve into this movie and what it's about real quick. And this is basically takes place right after pretty much with real time after the first one ends. And what it is it kind of shows Rocky getting a little bit of fame. He buys a house, they have a kid, starts to get a little bit of money, buys a new car, that sort of stuff. But kind of disappears. He's going to retire. He kind of disappears, but then Apollo keeps kind of not threatening him, but really egging him on like live TV. Hey, like, hey, where are you? Come on, let's do a rematch. Let's fight again. And he decides he's going to fight him, and they fight at the end. But yeah, this was a great release. It's a cool movie. It looks good. It sounds good. Unfortunately, I don't have the J card anymore, which I think had the special features on there, and so I have no listing right now of the special features. So unfortunately, I can't talk about those with you. But as far as audio sound and picture sound and just movie in general, this is definitely worth a pickup. I really enjoyed it. All right, next we're going to delve into some Steven Spielberg, and it's probably his most personal film he's ever done, and that is The Fable Men on 4K. I love the artwork on this too. This movie was quite different than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really know what I was going to expect. I thought maybe it was going to be more about actual, like, of him making movies and stuff, where this movie is really not about that. This movie is about family. It's about family dysfunction. It's about families being there, and then what happens when, everything kind of goes wrong and things aren't as happy as they used to be, and how each family member is going to deal with that. And in Steven Spielberg's way of dealing with that was kind of like was making movies or starting to make movies and do this and that. And they delve a little bit into that, but I thought this movie was pretty much only about that. It's really not. It's a very personal film, and it's really just more about family. It's 100% about family is really what it is. And the filmmaking aspect kind of is on the back burner, which is okay. I just did not expect that. And this is a movie that there's a lot to take in. I think this will become one of my favorite Spielberg movies over time, but it's not one that you can watch once and really make a decision about it. It's a movie that I think you need to see multiple times, and I plan on watching it again probably within the next month or so, and then probably again after that. I would like to see it a couple more times to fully delve into it and make a judgment call on it, like how much I actually liked it. I did enjoy it, but I think I'm gonna really start to enjoy it once I really give it the time that it deserves. But yeah, it looks great on 4K. It's well acted. It's very long though. It is a little bit too long in my opinion, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit and highly recommend it. But I would give it more than one viewing to fully take it in. But yeah, it looks good on 4K. It sounds good. But yeah, for special features, you get the Fable Men, a personal journey, family dynamics, crafting the world of the Fable Men. So you get some really cool bonus features on here. I believe I watched all of them, and it was very insightful. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, this is definitely worth your time, in my opinion. Check it out. So now, guys, this next movie is one that I've owned on multiple formats. I saw it for the first time when I was a teenager. Didn't really even care for it for the first time. It wasn't until a few years later when I saw it again that I really started to like it. And ever since then, it's become one of my favorite movies. And I was super excited to find out that it was getting a 4K release. And I'm talking about Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused on 4K from the Criterion Collection. This is a fantastic release, guys. It's really cool. This movie basically tells about the last day of school and the antics and the parties and all that kind of stuff that goes on. Not really parties, but just what these kids do on the last day of school, after school's out, how they spend their night, and it takes place over the course of, one night all the way up until the next morning. This movie is great, and it looks fantastic on 4K. This is an excellent release. This movie is just a lot of fun. I think there's elements to it that everybody can relate to. I mean, I can think back to when I was younger, going out, hanging out at the pool hall, hanging out with your buddies, maybe doing stuff you weren't supposed to be doing. So I think there's a little bit of everything in here. There's some great dialogue in here. I think a lot of people can relate to this movie. I really, really enjoyed it, and it sucks you right back into the 1970s. It's a great soundtrack. It's got a very early Ben Affleck. In fact, it might have been his first or second movie. He was very, very young when he did this. But yeah, it's outstanding. Oh, and it also has a very young Matthew McConaughey. How did I forget about Matthew McConaughey? He's in this as well, and he is awesome in this movie. I'm not going to even go into the bonus features. I mean, here, if you can pause it, you can maybe look, but you get a ton of bonus features. There's just a bunch on here. So yeah, I mean, if you can especially even get this during the Criterion sale for, it would be $25, I think. This is well worth it. This is a fantastic release. And yeah, do yourself a favor. If you've never seen Dazed and Confused, definitely check it out. And on 4K is the best way to see it. All right, guys, well, we're down to the last two. This next movie did not have a Blu-ray release, only a DVD release. I think it came out a couple years ago, but the physical media just came out, I want to say last week or the week before. But that's Fredheads, the documentary. This movie just talks about and follows around a bunch of people who are really, really into the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But it is deeper than that. I mean, it kind of, I think this movie took a lot of different years and footage and stuff to kind of put together. Because this group of people, I think it's 5 of them maybe, that kind of sit around a table and kind of talk and narrate and talk about their experiences with the movie. And then I'll cut to clips from different horror conventions and this and that. But it is really kind of interesting. I've always been very interested in people's stories with how they got introduced to like specific movies or franchises, or how those specific movies would help them get through day-to-day life. Sometimes if they're having a hard day, these movies, the impact of these movies, how they really help people, and they delve really deep into this. There's some tearjerker moments. There's some moments where some of the people that are talking, that narrate, they talk about like bullying, and you can't help but feel bad for them. It's like, oh man, I mean, because people can just be so mean. I mean, I ever look and like think like maybe if I was bullied a little bit in high school, like I had nothing compared to some of the stuff that these guys went through that they talk about in this movie, man. I mean, you really feel for them, you really do. And it's cool to see that the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and that group of friends and going to these conventions help them through these hard times. It's a very unique really unique documentary. I like the fact that they're not just talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, there's other documentaries out there. If you just want to talk about that franchise, that's fine. But I love how they intertwine their personal life with the franchise and how the franchise and that group of friends help them through rough times in life. They do a good job of doing a nice balance between the actual franchise and Freddy Krueger and talking about the movies and their personal life. They do a really good job of balancing this out. Yeah, but I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the franchise, or just kind of heartfelt documentaries. I mean, this one will even hit close to home, even if you're not a horror fan. I mean, I think anybody even has something that helps them get through their daily life. Whether it's a horror movie or whether it's just another franchise or whether it's just something completely different. I think everybody can relate to this, even if you're not a horror fan. This is a really good documentary. Definitely check it out. Fredheads, the documentary. It's well worth your time. All right, guys, I saved the best for last. Man, this video is getting really long. But that's the 4K release from Shout Factory, Streets of Fire. I have never seen this movie. I'd never seen this movie before. I'd barely even heard of it. And this was one of those movies that just stuck with me when I was done watching it. It's a very simple story. It stars Rick Moranis. What's his name? Michael Parr. It's Michael Parr and Michael Paré. Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, and William Dafoe. And Diane Lane plays this kind of rocker type girl who gets kidnapped by a motorcycle gang, and Michael Parr is the ex-boyfriend who was like off to war, who happens to come back into town, and his sister pays him to go, or hires him to go save his ex-girlfriend who has been kidnapped by this motorcycle gang. This movie is very atmospheric. Lots of neon. it's a musical, but it's not really a musical. It's not like they break out into song, but you got songs in there that are like rockabilly songs. You got rhythm and blues style songs. You have songs that are very 80. The movie opens and ends with two songs by Jim Steinman. So like the opening song and the ending song, which are both live performances by, I don't think Diane Lane's actually singing them, but she's singing them as the rock star in this movie. They're both Jim Steinman songs. So they're very Meatloaf type songs. They're very theatrical and they're fantastic. They're great songs to open the movie and to end the movie. The whole thing kind of takes place in like a post-apocalyptic, like 1950s with an 80s twist type movie. It plays out like a Western. It plays out like a film noir. It plays out kind of like a musical. Lots of neon, very atmospheric, very noirish. Yeah, definitely where this movie kind of lacks a little bit with story or acting or dialogue, 110% makes up for with style and music. I've gone back in and just rewatched the music parts 3 times since I've watched this. This movie keeps running around in my head. And in fact, I think even tonight I'm going to go back in and I'm going to rewatch the whole movie. It's very atmospheric. It just sucks you in. This is a movie that I watched for the first time, I think it was 4 days ago. I've thought about it every single day, and I've thought about the music every single day. This movie just resonated with me. Sometimes there's movies that just resonate with people, and this one 100% did. This is well worth your time. This looks amazing in 4K. Lots of neon just shines. It looks amazing. It's filled with bonus features. I'm not going to delve into them either. Here, you can take a look. You can try to pause it or just look it up online. You get tons of bonus features in this. And the thing that's beautiful about this movie is it doesn't overstay its welcome with a running time of right around an hour and a half or even a little bit shy of an hour and a half. It gets in, it's a lot of fun, and it gets out. It doesn't drag on too long. I really enjoyed this. This was the one that I was really, really excited to talk about. And this is the one that, if you're going to go get any movie, this is the one that I recommend the most from this whole list just to go get, just because it's just so much fun. I loved it. Definitely check out Streets of Fire, especially on 4K. All right, guys, well, that's it. This video is way too long. We're going on probably about a half an hour by this point, if not even longer. But so that's it, guys. That's all I got for you today. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know you guys like what I'm doing. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Let me know, are any of you guys from Minnesota or been in Minnesota? Have you gone to that burger joint? Have you tried out King's Place? What'd you think of it? Did you see any of these movies? What do you think of them? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below, guys. You're amazing as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. You guys are the best. I love you guys. You're awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.